This week I have been mainly eating pizza, and also I have been making a vent window for my van. Okay, so I made it from a piece of perspex and a couple of aluminium frames, and I was thinking to show you how it came out for anybody else who might be interested. Instead of buying one and maybe expensive and not really doing what you want it to do, here it is. Okay, so made from, as I say, one piece of perspex which cost about £13. I may tint it, and 4 meters of angle aluminium. Okay, I was originally hoping to solder the aluminium or braze the aluminium with those brazing resins, but it's very difficult to use that. I couldn't find a flux, cheaply or something that I could braze the corners, which would be nicer. It would give a better result. But also what I did, I basically, to fix the corners, I made little pieces of reinforcing aluminium just to glue the corners. It seems pretty strong at the moment. The lid comes off, so basically if I undo these struts, I just made the hinges and riveted them to the frame, or bolted on in case of the lower frame. So that's just like a nail through a piece of steel bent around the nail. I mean, obviously you have to be careful when you're doing it, but it's not too difficult. And then riveted the top U hinge so that it hooks around the nail, and basically it can't come off because it's, as I say, it hooks behind the nail, and once it's closed, it can't move. For the actual struts, basically just a couple of pieces of steel a couple of tabs which I sort of bent so that it glues both sides of the frame near the corner, and then obviously just a hole through, and then that has to be fixed with a bolt and a spacer so that it still moves. And then that comes down to a bolt through the frame at the bottom. You can make it to any size you want. Well, within reason. I don't know, you might want to make the frame a bit thicker maybe. This is actually 1.5mm aluminium. It's like 27 by about 15 high. It's like an unequal angle. I've got that from Wix. It seemed to be like the most economic option really, but you could use any old angle. I glued it. It's glued obviously together, and it's supported, reinforced on the top. The top frame is going to be reinforced because of the glass being bonded to the glass, or the perspex rather, and the bottom frame is going to be screwed and bonded to the van. So it's not too difficult. The most important thing is to make sure that it's reasonably, you know, solid enough to fix it beforehand, and obviously make sure that the corners are sealed up. For the top, for the perspex, make sure you cover the seal on the top surface with some black paint or something, or black strip, to stop sunlight decaying or degrading the seal underneath. That you should try to protect the seal from sunlight if possible. I mean, you could use, let's say, tinted glass. I just happened to get a clear piece of perspex, but yeah, you could use tinted perspex, which would then work better, perhaps. Okay, so to fit it, basically start with a wooden frame made underneath where you want the hatch to be, and this is just made out of roofing battens, and I'd used the end pieces of the roofing battens that I used, to make the roof supports, to make a square frame. Okay, that's it really. I filled in the spaces under the corrugations with a bit of UPVC insulation strip, 6mm strip. In this case, obviously it will vary depending on what van you've got, but obviously you need to make sure that the roof profile is supported when you put screws down into the frame. And the roof again, just filled in between corrugations with the same 6mm, in my case UPVC strip. So I made some little, just small short pieces which I stuck on with polyurethane, white polyurethane, flex or something like that. I just cut around with a hacksaw, jigsaw. Okay, so also on the bottom of the hatch frame, I stuck another layer, if you like, of 6mm UPVC strip, polyurethane onto the bottom, mainly to allow for the center roof ridge, which just is a little bit higher than the other ridges on that I filled in, I've showed you, and also it allowed me to accommodate the other end of these screw heads, the heads of these hinge screws. So the plate is all screwed down now and sealed with the Puriflex polyurethane sealant. It looks pretty good. So that's the finished roof vent. It's just rained and there's not a drop of water inside. I've screwed down countersunk screws, 50mm countersunk screws, and I put a dab of polyurethane to seal. On the inside there's like a sealing strip which just touches on the top of this. Okay, so this from the inside. I think probably much else to add really, except that, yeah, as I say, some attention, you could pay more attention to these ceiling strips. I mean, I've just used basically a bit of draft excluder, 3mm draft excluder, and I calculated the hinge heights so that there was a gap between the two frames. Obviously the frames overlap. The upper frame overlaps the lower frame, so that it gives an inherent sort of waterproof ability. But yeah, you can try and think about other ways to seal around there, and that's perfectly good at the moment. I may add another strip on the lower frame, covering the screw heads, maybe just to give them some extra security, and also then that would touch on the bottom edge of the upper frame. But yeah, I don't know, I'll see how it goes, and if necessary I'll do that. Well, hope that's of some interest anyway, or use. Good luck with your project.